Hello my YouTube friends! Today I want to show you how to create this stinger transition for OBS using nothing but free software. It's easy to do, so let's get to it! Today I want to thank StreamTunes for sponsoring this video. Every live stream or video needs some sort of good music, right? But how do you find good music for free that's not going to get you strikes to your live streams or your video? Today's sponsor, StreamTunes, is the answer. Now StreamTunes is a 100% free platform of high quality DMCA safe music. And it's always free. No strings attached, no bogus signups, nothing. Just free. Not only that, but StreamTunes is available on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and most, if not all, streaming services, including YouTube Music. And they have a library of more than 800 songs, and it's growing by the day. Another really cool part about StreamTunes is that every time you play their songs on any of the services, a donation is made to Music Counts. And this charity helps to keep music programs going in high schools all over Canada, and that's just awesome. Be sure to check out StreamTunes for yourself. There is a link in the description, and like I said, it's totally 100% free. The first thing we're gonna do is create a couple of assets for a stinger that we're gonna be animating. To do that, we're gonna use Pixlr E. It's totally free, and there is a link in the description below. The first thing we're gonna do is create some simple assets in Pixlr E, and to do that, we're just gonna click Create New, and we're gonna go to the Video tab, and we're gonna select 1080p, which is the resolution of our live stream. We don't need to title it right now. We're just gonna click Create. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually drag in a color palette that I created that's specifically for my streams. You may have a color palette that you use, so you can just drag it in there like I did here. If not, you can just select the colors that you want. I'm gonna go ahead and just open up the color thing and pick the color I'm looking for. Then I'm gonna select the layer. I'm gonna go over here to the fill and just go ahead and click anywhere and fill that layer in with that color. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add empty to add another layer. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click the color picker again, move it over here and select another color and click OK. And then I'm gonna make sure that layer is selected and I'm gonna fill in that layer, and there we go. So now we have two different color swatches. I'll just pull them apart here so you can see, and there we go. All I need to do is save out each one individually. So I'm gonna line that back up, go up to File, and then we're gonna go to Save. And all I have to do is click Save As. Everything else is set properly here. And I'm just gonna browse to the location where I'm gonna save the file and give it a name. In this case, I'm just gonna call it blue. Click Save, and there we go. And then I'm gonna just make that color unvisible and save out our yellow one here. We'll call this one green. I don't know if it's green or yellow, but it works. Click Save, and that's all we need to do here in Pixlr. We have everything we need to create the stinger. Easy enough. My goal in this channel is to help people become better live streamers and maybe entertain a little bit in the process. So take a second and leave me a comment down below to let me know how I'm doing. This goes a long way towards helping YouTube to push this video to a wider audience. Now let's animate our stinger. We're gonna use some really basic features in DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is a free editing software that's really powerful. You can download it and follow along with the link in the description. And of course, that is the best way to learn. Here we're gonna start in our DaVinci Resolve. We're gonna create a new project. I'm gonna call this Stinger Colors and click Create. It brings us in here. We're gonna go ahead and select the edit page, and we want to go up to File, and we want to go to our project settings and just make sure it's 1920 by 1080. Set it to the resolution of your stream, whether it's 30 or 60, and click Save. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag our two little color swatches we created in Pixlr in here, and I'm going to drag a logo in here as well, and there we go. So now we have our two swatches and a logo, and obviously you're going to use your logo or whatever logo you want to use. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just drag these swatches down onto the timeline. We'll start with the blue one and we'll move to the yellow. And there we go. And now what I'm going to do is modify these, and we're going to animate them. So I'll just move this up a little bit and we'll shrink that down a little bit. Use the scroll wheel to do that. Now we're going to go up into the inspector panel for our yellow one, and we're going to crop the left and right. What we're trying to do is make the yellow box box into a square, and we can change the rotation angle right here. We want it to be about 45 degrees, so we want the corners at each side. And so the purpose here is to make it as square as possible. And if we put it at a 45-degree angle and we set our crop left and right to around 400, that should get it done. Then I'm just going to use the zoom to zoom it in so it fills the screen, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off, and we're gonna do the same thing on the blue one here. Here I'm just gonna go ahead and put in the numbers 400, 400 for the crop left and right, and we're gonna set our angle at 45 for the rotation angle. And all we need to do is zoom it so it fills the entire screen. And that's pretty much where we want to be with our squares. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure that this clip is the length that I want it. In this case, I think I'm gonna make it 4 seconds long, and that might be too long. It's a little bit slow when I'm finished producing it. So 3 seconds to 4 seconds seems to be the sweet spot. But with a 4-second clip, that means I can find the exact middle. So I'm gonna put my playhead there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna put a position keyframe in the center of the play line for both the yellow and the blue. Then I'm gonna move my playhead to the very beginning, and I'm gonna go ahead and move the position all the way off to the left of the screen for the yellow one. And you see that leaves another keyframe there. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the blue one. So now we've got a keyframe at the beginning and a keyframe in the middle of our composition. If I move my playhead, you can see that the yellow covers up the blue completely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just click these buttons here, and that expands it out so we can actually see our keyframes. And I'm gonna take this keyframe for the yellow one and I'm gonna move it in a little bit. And that is gonna stagger the speed at which that one comes in. So when I move my playhead now, you can see it kind of creeping in late and then meeting right in the center where it covers everything up. So we're gonna go all the way over here to the right with the yellow one selected. I'm gonna go ahead and move the position all the way off to the right of the screen. And you can see that adds another keyframe right to the end of our composition. I'm gonna select our blue color and I'm gonna do the exact same thing, move it all the way off to the right. Then I'm gonna go ahead and select our yellow, move the playhead in a little bit here, and I'm just gonna move this keyframe for our yellow one in a little bit. And now if I run through it, you can see that yellow just kind of catches up. It looks pretty cool, but there's a lot more we can do, as you'll see in a minute. But the next step is gonna be to go ahead and add our logo in here. So I'm gonna drag this down and give ourselves a little more space. And we're gonna drag the logo in over top of that. And I'm gonna go up here, and I wanna make sure my playhead is in the center, but I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the sizing and location of my logo just to make sure it's exactly where I want it to be. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and click the keyframes for both the zoom and the position, just in case I wanna move the position. And I'm gonna move it all the way to the beginning of our timeline, and I'm gonna zoom it all the way out so we can't see it. And now I'm gonna make sure those keyframes are selected so it adds one. And now when we move in, you can see it zooms in. I'm gonna move to the end of our composition and zoom it out again. Make sure those keyframes are added. And now when I play it, you can see it zooms in, then it zooms out. And that's kind of cool, but we want to obviously adjust our keyframes so it does look a little more dynamic. So here's where the fun part starts, because we get to really change this up and do some dynamic and cool things with it. I'll start by moving these keyframes in right here for our logo. And now it's just going to kind of zip in when I play it, and it's almost too fast. We definitely want it to have a little bit of a pause in the center. So I'm gonna adjust these keyframes again. I'm gonna move this one out here. To start our animation, I'll move the end one out here to end the animation. I'm gonna select our middle keyframe and I'm gonna Control C and then Control V and paste another instance of our centered. Then I'm gonna move these out. So now we have this, it zooms in and then it basically will stay there for a moment and zoom out. And they're a little too close, so what we're gonna do is move our centered ones back into the center to give it a little more animation, and that is getting a little closer. Let's go ahead and play it and see what we get. Okay, that doesn't look too bad when you play it, but there's still a lot more we can do with this. First thing I'm gonna do is just make this the length of the composition, and I'm gonna select all the keyframes for our greenish transform here. I'm gonna click this button right here, and that brings up this right here, and this is really cool. So we'll just move this up a little bit here, and then we can go up to the top and we can select these keyframe adjusters. And so we want to select one that gives us a little bit of a bar here. So I believe it's this one here. So it's this one right here that gives us that little bar hanging off that red keyframe there. And this gives us the ability to adjust the angle of that keyframe, so we can make it speed up or slow down at different points in its animation. And the steeper the angle is on these, the faster the animation is. So what I'm doing right here is making the animation slower to start out. So it gives it a little bit more of a delay coming in, and then it'll speed up a little bit more at the end. And it looks all right, but it's not really what I want. So I'm gonna select this middle keyframe, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add bars to it by selecting this key up here. And then I'm just gonna rotate this. So it's super slow to come in and it speeds up big time at the end. And that looks pretty cool. I like how that looks. We're gonna minimize that, and we're gonna go and we're gonna adjust the blue. And I think we're gonna do this kind of a little bit in the opposite way. We're gonna adjust it so it's speedy at the beginning, and then it slows down a little bit in the center. We're gonna take this center one and we're going to totally even it out so it gives us a nice smooth line. And you can see that blue zips in there really fast now, and then it's kind of followed by the yellow. And maybe we don't want it quite that dynamic, a little slower at the beginning. And you just have to grab these ends and adjust it to the angle that you want. And once you get it how you want it, there you go. So you could see you can really change the way that these are done. Now you can also grab these bars and you can change the length of the bar, which will dramatically change the length of the curve. And once I get it the way I want it, it's good to even out both sides. And you're really gonna have to play around with this to get it the way you want it. Now let's tackle our logo. I'm gonna go ahead and add the same types of keyframes on here so we get the little bars. We can adjust it up, and we want this to animate pretty quickly at the very beginning and then slow down in the middle a little bit. It even creates that kind of little bump there that you see, which is definitely gonna be visible and give it a little bit more of an animated look. And that, I think, looks pretty awesome. The last thing we're gonna do is just kind of adjust the locations of our keyframes a little bit here to give it just the look we want. Make sure that everything is all centered up and give it a last play. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Now it might be a little slow for some people's tastes, and in that case you might want to shorten it to 3 seconds instead of 4, but the process is exactly the same either way for adding the keyframes and adjusting them dynamically. You can animate just about anything in DaVinci Resolve like this. So let's add some sound. Now most of you may not know that YouTube actually has its own little sound thing. And if you go into your studio, you can go down here to the audio library and just click on the audio library. When it comes up, you can select sound effects at the top. I'm gonna click here so I can search for a filter in the library. And in this case, I'm gonna search for just golf sounds because I like that little golf swing sound. I think it sounds pretty cool when these are coming in. So now all we have to do is play some golf sounds, see what they sound like. And I think that one works. Once you select your sound, you can just go over here and download it. And these are not going to get you copyright stricken. You can use these anytime you want. We'll go back into DaVinci Resolve, and what I'm gonna do here is just kind of shorten these up to make it easier to get to the audio piece. So we'll just adjust the sizes here a little bit, and we'll move the audio up. And now we just need to drag our audio clip in, and we'll drag it down to our timeline. And there we go. If we expand this out, then we can see the waveform, which is good, so we can sync it up where we want it on the file. So I usually like to put these in the center, but this is a really short clip, so I'm just gonna kind of squeeze this together. So I'm gonna go ahead and move this over here to where there is a lot of motion when it initially enters. And that's pretty good. I like that. And I'm just gonna drag this out. Why not put a second one on that second whoosh there? And this should work pretty well. Oh yeah, that checks out. I do like that. All that's left to do is go ahead and export this out. So what we're gonna do is go over here to the rocket button, and we're gonna go up here and name our file, and we're gonna browse, and we're gonna go to the location where we wanna save this and click save. Now we wanna come down here, and QuickTime is fine. We're gonna drop our codec down, and we're gonna go to uncompressed. We're gonna drop this down, and we're gonna select BGRA 8-bit. That'll work just fine. Make sure that we're 1920 by 1080 with our frames per second that we're using for our stream. We want to select export alpha, and then we're just going to add this to the render queue and render it out. And once we're done, we're ready to move on to the next step. It's that easy to create this stinger. Next, we need to optimize our file for OBS, and then all we have to do is add the stinger in. It's really easy to do. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open Shutter Encoder. If you don't know what Shutter Encoder is, it's a free encoder you can download to make these files a lot smaller and more usable for OBS. There's a link in the description so you can check it out. And we're just going to drag our files onto here, and we're going to choose the function VP9, and then over in advanced features, we're going to check enable alpha, and we're going to go ahead and start. And it's just going to take a couple of seconds for this to be finished encoding. Now it's nice and tiny and ready for us to use right here in OBS. So what we do in OBS is we're going to drop this down. We're going to go to stinger, and we can name our stinger if we want. I'm just going to click OK, and I'm going to browse to the location of the WebM file that we just created, and I'm going to click open. Then I'm going to drop this down and select frames. And I know halfway through this stinger is 60 seconds because it is a 4-second clip and we're running at 30 frames per second. I can go down here and try the transition, and you can see that we definitely don't get any of the A spilling into the B, which looks great. I'm going to go ahead and drop this down and select crossfade. That sets up my audio so that it doesn't cut from one scene to another. Audio will carry over from one scene to another, making it really easy. You can also set your monitor because we added audio to this. If we want to hear the audio for our stingers, I do not. Monitor off is just fine. Then all we have to do is click OK. And now when we switch scenes, our new stinger is going to play. Pretty awesome, really easy. You guys will not have any problem setting this up. And once you learn these little animation tricks, there is no end to the amount of cool things that you're going to be able to do in DaVinci Resolve to set up awesome stingers for your live streams. I'm just giving you the tools and showing you how they work. It's your job to be creative and do amazing things. If you want to see how to create a more complex stinger transition like this one right here, you should definitely check this video out. Big thanks to StreamTunes for sponsoring this video. You can find links to StreamTunes and all of our other sponsors in the description below under sponsors. Supporting the sponsors that keep the lights on here in the studio is a great way to help me to continue to make content that helps you. I couldn't do this without them or you. So thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks that can help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.